Good morning, guys. Hope everybody's doing great today. I am Lee Godbold with Junk Removal Authority. Just bringing you a few thoughts this morning of some stuff that I've seen on the internet. Just recently, I'm a member of an internet forum, and somebody was talking. There's a few things people were talking about. Number one was the amount of money that they're making and their margins, gross margins. And number two is the concept of having a business where you can leave, you can go out of town for a couple days or a week or two or whatever, and your business is going to be just in as good a shape, if not better, when you left or when you were gone, when you come back, than when you left. So it's just in good a shape when you come back than when you left. And that's the ultimate goal in business. That's something that we talk about a lot. However, I think this particular person is likely believing he has a business that is at that point before he really does. So let's roll right into the margin thing. Those of you out there that are making 50% plus margins, 55% margins. I've seen some people say they claim they make 70 or 90% margins. One, there's no way possible you're making a 90% margin. You're not accounting for tires that go in your truck. You're not accounting for any other automobile expense and repairs. You're not accounting for insurance. You might not be paying insurance. You're not accounting for any advertising dollars at all, whatever that might be. You're certainly not accounting for paying yourself. You're not accounting for any office supplies that you have to use in your office, the recording equipment and the computer equipment that you do to put out your videos, your pictures. That you'll have to have some sort of, even if you're not paying taxes, you're gonna have to have some sort of office stuff going on, some sort of back end office stuff going on. And you got a cell phone. You got a cell phone you're on all the time. You're not accounting for paying that bill. There's no way possible you're making 90% margins. There's no way possible you're making 75% margins. Those of you that are making 55% margins, guys, you're not scaling enough. You're not growing enough. You're not advertising enough. You're on the truck all the time. You're not having people out there doing the actual labor, the majority of the labor for you. You're going to be underinsured, or you're not going to have workers' compensation, one or the other, to make 55%. And you're not paying yourself fairly. You're not accounting for your time on the truck, doing anything else that you do, any of your office work, your administrative work. You're not accounting for that if you're making 55% margins. You're not growing enough. You're not scaling enough is the biggest thing there. So, and some of you guys have a little bit, you expect to get those 55% margins on every single job. You do, plus. So you expect to get huge margins. You go and you quote a hoarding job, and you look at the hoarding job and you quote it at $15,000, and you can make good money at $8,000. But this is one of the, I've talked about this before, this is one of the disadvantages of you being on the truck for every job, because you're like, damn, I don't want to do all that work. I don't want to have to do all that. And so you're like, if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna make good money. When you have other people work for you, you no longer have to do that. I was willing to jump in there and do it. I've done plenty of hoarding jobs and all that kind of stuff, and they were paying, and we never overquoted them when I was on there. Now, if I went out there and did them now, would I quote and had to do all the work myself? Would I quote it higher? Yeah, I probably would. But when I first started, first year or two, man, we'd go out there and we'd quote the price what we needed to. We'd get in there and do the work. We'd make, we'd be happy on direct profit, not accounting for a lot of the back end expenses. Direct profit, we'd be happy for 30% margins. So then, once you back everything else out, you back insurance out, and you back all that, all the office stuff out, the administrative stuff out, the telephone bill out. We do include automobile expense as a direct expense, because that is a direct expense. You might not be able to quantify it just for that one job, but we pretty much know we're going to spend somewhere around 3% overall on our vehicles on repair expenses. Some of our vehicles have got some age on them, some mileage on them. We're starting to replace that fleet here soon. But in the meantime, our automobile expense is a bit higher because we have so much mileage on our vehicles. Now, what happens is when you replace those vehicles, you're likely to be making a truck payment, or you're just putting out a huge outlay of cash, which we're not going to pay cash for a vehicle when we can go out there and, for $65,000 vehicle, we can go out there and get a loan at 3.5%. It's just almost ridiculous. It's just free money. So you're going to have that payment that you got to account for, that $900 some payment every single month on that vehicle. That's got to be accounted for. So you got to think about all of your expenses when you give your margins. So and some of y'all, you might inflate them when you're telling other people how much money you're making, which is fine. We try not to do that, but if you do that, then understandable, whatever. But don't tell yourself you're actually making that much money, because that's going to put you in a bad situation when the time comes that you start spending too freely. You're like, man, I'm making $30,000 a month, so I can go out here, I can buy this truck, I can buy this boat, I can buy this motorcycle, I can do whatever. That's going to get you in a lot of trouble. So to grow your junk removal business, you must accept lower margins. 15 to 20% margins is for an established business is what that's a great business. That's after paying yourself. 15 to 20% margins is an excellent return. Anything over that, you're either not paying yourself enough or you're shorting yourself somewhere else in some of those other categories I just mentioned. Once you get your business to about $1.5 million to $2 million a year, that's the point you can go out and afford to spend $85,000 or so on a good general manager. And maybe you salary them at 40 or 50, and you have some sort of a profit share type deal where they earn more money based on the performance of the organization. But you're going to need to get a good manager. You're going to need to pay them about $85,000, depending on what market you're in. If you're in California, it might be $100,000. If you're in some of the areas in the Midwest, maybe it's $60,000 or $70,000. But somewhere around $85,000 is what you're going to expect to pay a decent manager. So you're going to have a manager, and you're going to have a bookkeeper / secretary, somebody answering your phones. The manager is going to be backup on the phone. Secretary is going to be number one. At that point, you're completely removed. That's going to take you at minimum 4 years. With the JRA business package route, 4 years, probably 3-4 years. Now, it took us, since we were learning, it took us 6 years to get to that point. But I average about 5 hours a week on junk doctors. There's going to be some weeks I might work 15 hours, especially at the end of the month, making sure financial reports are together correctly. Popping in, listen to call recordings and everything. And then there's last week, I didn't do a damn thing for junk doctors. So things are going great. The company is still growing, but I'm still involved. So when you get to that point where it's turned over, don't just stop being involved, because you're gonna get in trouble. You still need to be listening to call recordings. You have call recordings, don't you? Every single phone call you need to be listening to call recordings. You need to be around the office when people are answering those calls, listening to them, making sure they're handling that call correctly. You need to be around your guys. If you're no longer doing the hiring, if you give the hiring over to a manager, you need to be around those guys. Are these guys that you would have hired yourself, are they doing a good job? Place the occasional customer follow-up call yourself. Have other people do them normally, but every so often pick up that phone and run through a list of follow-up calls. Make sure those customers are happy. Certainly keep monitoring financial statements, and I would not turn over check signing to anybody for as long of a period as possible. So somebody else can cut the bill, somebody else can have the checks prepared. You run through each one and sign them yourself. Don't turn that over to somebody else. So whatever you do, do not remove yourself completely from the business at any point. You must be involved. If you want to get to the point where you're going to remove yourself completely, then focus in on that business for a good 6 months. Focus in hard. Have a general manager in place. Have it making 15-20% margins without you being actively involved. Get that baby listed for sale and roll that baby out of there. At that point, if you have a business like that, if you have pretty decent equipment, if you got good repeat customers, if you have good local reputation, if you're making 15-20% margins, not after you paying all expenses, manager, everything. If you're doing that, you got a business that's worth either 4 or 5 times gross profit. 4 or 5 times gross profit. So you got a very, very good business At that point, you have a valuable business, sell it, get into something else if you're going to completely remove yourself. Now, those of you that have been in business for a few months or a year or 2 years, there is almost no way that you have a business that you can leave, and when you get back, everything went extremely smooth right in between. You either didn't do any jobs, or something on there, I can guarantee it was not done as good as when you were in town. Don't be thinking, I'm not saying you can't leave. I took very few vacations the first 2-3 years we had. I mean, I'd leave town for 1 or 2 days, maybe once a year. And that was it. Everything else was actively involved in that business. Until you've got a general manager in place, until you have multiple crews, multiple trucks, everything running smoothly, until you got somebody answering the phone for you, until you got somebody doing the books for you, until every part of that job is being taken care of, you don't have a bona fide business where you can sit here and brag that you can leave town and everything's going to continue running smoothly. You don't have it. So that's just the truth of the matter. That needs to be what you're working towards, though. You shouldn't. Part of being a business owner is when you're not working, you should still be able to make an income. That's the risk you take. That's the stress you put up with. That's the loans you take out from the bank if you take loans out from the bank. That's the justification for the risk you have taken on to that's your right. That's what I won't say you're owed. You got to get out there and earn everything, but I mean that's part of the payoff for you taking on all that risk is the ability to earn money when you're not working. But don't think you're at that point before you really are. So want to welcome on, as we wrap this video up, want to welcome on Junk MD out in San Diego, Junk Junkies in Cleveland, Bull Run Junk Removal opening up in Virginia, and Dirty Dogs Junk Removal and J.A. Daniel Junk Removal down in West Palm Beach. Welcome y'all to Pay Per Job. Some of these sites are up and going already. We're already bringing some of them jobs. Some of them will be coming up online within the next couple days to the next few weeks. So excited to be working with all these people on Pay Per Jobs, bringing you jobs. The neat thing about that program is it just gets better over time. So we're already seeing, we're on the first page in quite a few of those cities already, and I'm a week or two in. Organically, we're already on the first page. We got that top ad on AdWords. And just over time, as that stuff gets more established, that page starts working the way up, that just gets better and better. So it gets better and better. Those of you starting right now, this is probably the worst that campaign is going to perform. 20 to 60 jobs from the start is what we anticipate, depending on your market. Anywhere from 20 to 60 jobs per month, $7,000 to $25,000 in additional revenue per month, and it just gets better over time, baby. So, hey, enjoyed everything. Hope you found this video helpful. Subscribe below, please. Subscribe below. You can also visit junkra.com. A lot of great articles on there. We've got we've got a gentleman that's been in business over 10 years that's about to start writing articles for us as well in Pennsylvania. And we are now looking for guest writers. You can link your page from your article. So we'll send you a link from the article you write to your page. Same thing for videos. We can do some of the video editing. If you have job footage and all you want to provide, we'll edit those into our videos, and we'll put a link on YouTube and shoot that back out to your site to help out your search engine optimization. Guest writing, you can do it as much or as little as you want. And guest videos, if you're interested. We're not taking everybody. We do want multiple perspectives, though. So we want the guy that's been in business for 15 years that's still in the truck. We want the guy that's been in business 3 years that's off the truck. We want guys offering dumpsters. We want to get every single perspective out there on junk removal, and we want people providing to that site. So it's the ultimate source for junk removal information. It's junkra.com. That's junkremovalauthority.com, or you can reach it at junkra.com. Email us, lee@junkra.com, or you can call us at 919-617-1975, 919-617-1975. Thanks, guys.